elite academy floated above a glowing alien city. It was a place where only the most advanced species in the galaxy were allowed. Every student inside the academy was trained to become a future leader, commander, or scientist. Humans were never part of this future. For most alien races, humans were a forgotten species. They were described as weak, emotional, and slow to evolve. Old records called them outdated and fragile. Many believed humans would disappear one day without anyone noticing. Inside one bright classroom, alien girls sat in perfect rows. Their skin colors were different shades of blue, silver, violet, and gold. Some had glowing eyes, others had horns or markings that shifted with emotion. They spoke quietly among themselves, confident and proud. This class was known for being the best in the academy. No mistakes were tolerated here. No weakness was allowed. Then the classroom door opened. The sound was soft, but it froze the entire room. All voices stopped. Every head turned. A human boy stood at the doorway. He was average in height, slim, and wearing a simple gray uniform. No armor, no glowing tech, no weapons. His face was calm, almost unreadable. There was no fear in his eyes. For a moment, no one spoke. Then whispers spread across the room. A human. Is this a joke? He must be lost. Humans don't belong here. Some alien girls laughed quietly. Others stared with open disgust. A few leaned forward with curiosity. One girl covered her mouth, as if she had seen something embarrassing. Humans were not supposed to survive in elite alien schools. Everyone knew that. The academy pressure alone was enough to break weaker species. And humans were considered the weakest of all. The teacher entered behind the boy, tall and sharp. With a voice that commanded silence, he looked across the room once. The whispers died instantly. This human student will remain in this class, the teacher said calmly. No questions were answered. No explanation was given. Shock moved through the room. Like a wave, several alien girls straightened in their seats. Others exchanged looks, filled with disbelief, a punishment, an experiment, a mistake. The human boy said nothing. He walked forward slowly. Every step echoed in the silent room. Dozens of alien eyes followed him, judging, measuring, waiting for him to break. He chose an empty seat near the middle. He sat down quietly. His hands rested on the desk, steady and relaxed. The tension in the room grew heavier. It felt like the air itself was watching him. No one understood why the academy would allow this. Why bring a human here? What did the academy know that the students did not? Some alien girls leaned closer, whispering insults under their breath. Others smiled, already sure they would see him fail. To them, this was entertainment. A human among predators. The boy kept his eyes forward. He did not react. He did not smile or frown. It was as if he had expected this moment all his life. One alien girl near the window watched him carefully. Her skin shimmered faintly, reacting to her thoughts. At first, she felt the same curiosity as the others. But then, something changed. She looked at his posture. The way he sat straight, without tension. The way his breathing stayed slow and controlled. This was not fear. A strange feeling settled in her chest. Something she could not explain. It was not kindness. It was not pity. It felt like danger mixed with respect. She had seen strong warriors panic before battle. She had seen confident students crumble under pressure, but this human boy did neither. For the first time, doubt entered her mind. Maybe humans were not what the galaxy believed. As the lesson began, the class listened with half attention. Most eyes kept returning to the human boy, waiting for him to fail. Waiting for proof that humans did not belong. But the proof did not come. Not yet. And as the academy continued floating silently above the alien city, something invisible shifted inside that classroom. A small change, the kind that begins history. If you enjoy slow-burning HFY stories like this and want to see how this human changes the galaxy, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps these stories continue. The days after the human boy arrived did not become easier. They became sharper, quieter, and more cruel. The alien girls did not attack him directly. They were too proud for open hostility. Instead, they tested him in smaller ways meant to humiliate rather than harm. Simple assignments were changed. For him, instructions were given too fast. Details were skipped only when he was listening. Group tasks somehow left him alone every time. When equipment adjusted automatically for alien bodies, no one corrected it for him. When seating shifted for comfort, his remained unchanged. They expected him to complain. They expected frustration. They expected him to ask for help. He did none of those things. The human boy struggled. That much was obvious. His movements were slower, his strength weaker, his reactions less sharp, but he never stopped. When a task took others minutes, it took him hours. When an exercise exhausted him, he rested only long enough to stand again. He watched carefully. He memorized patterns. He adjusted his movements, step by step, learning not with speed, but with patience. Some alien girls found this amusing. They smiled when he failed, whispered jokes when he lagged behind. To them, endurance without talent was still failure. During a logic drill, the instructor increased the difficulty. Alien minds adapted instantly. The human boy paused, not frozen, but thinking. He failed the first round, then the second, then the third. But by the fourth attempt, he made fewer mistakes. By the fifth, he surprised the nearest student, not by winning, but by improving. One alien girl noticed this pattern. She had been watching him since the first day. At first, out of curiosity, now with growing confusion, humans were supposed to break under pressure. That was what history said, that was what the galaxy believed, yet this one did not. Another alien girl, seated near the front, felt something else entirely. Irritation, not because he succeeded, but because he refused to fail properly. He did not show anger, he did not beg, he did not argue, his calm felt wrong. As if he was denying them the satisfaction of watching him fall. The true test came during physical training. A long endurance trial designed for alien bodies. The rules were simple. Last one standing earns respect. First one down earns laughter. The alien girls excelled. Their movements were smooth, powerful, efficient. The human boy struggled immediately. His breathing grew heavy, his steps slowed. Laughter spread quietly through the group. Whispers followed him as he stumbled. He fell. The reaction was instant. Smiles, satisfied, looks, proof. But then he stood again. His legs shook, his face showed strain for the first time. But his eyes stayed focused. He fell a second time, then a third. Each fall brought louder laughter. Each rise brought confusion. One by one, alien girls completed the tryout and stepped aside. Watching now, not mocking, waiting. The human boy was last. His body trembled. Sweat soaked his uniform. Every movement looked painful. Then he collapsed again. This time, no one laughed. Slowly, he pushed himself up, using the floor, using the wall, using nothing but will. He stood. The room was silent. He did not win. He did not finish first. He finished last, still standing. The instructor ended the trial without comment. But several alien girls avoided looking at each other. Something uncomfortable had entered their thoughts. If humans were weak, why did they endure? If humans were outdated, why did they adapt? The human boy returned to his place without celebration, without pride, as if survival itself was the goal. The alien girl near the window watched him again. The strange feeling returned, stronger this time. Not fear, not admiration. Recognition. As the class ended, whispers filled the room once more, but they sounded different now, less mocking, more uncertain. An idea began forming quietly among them, unspoken, but growing. Humans may be weak, but they do not give up. And in a galaxy built on strength alone, that kind of endurance could be dangerous. The combat strategy class was different from the others. This was the class where reputations were made or destroyed. Victories here followed students for life. Failures were remembered even longer. The room transformed as the lesson began. The floor faded into a wide tactical field. Holographic terrain rose around the students. Mountains, broken cities, narrow passages. Enemy signals pulsed in the air like distant heartbeats. Alien girls straightened in their seats. This was where they belonged. Combat was instinct to them. Technology, an extension of their bodies. The human boy stood quietly at his station. No armor wrapped around him, no neural link glowing at his temples. No enhanced reflex system adjusting his pulse. The teacher's eyes rested on him longer than usual. Today, you will all command a unit. The teacher said calmly, victory will be measured by results. Then the teacher added something unexpected. The human student will command last. Soft laughter moved through the room. Everyone understood what that meant. The final command position was the worst. Minimal resources, damaged units, no room for error. The simulation began. Alien commanders moved quickly. They used speed, firepower, precise strikes. Enemy units fell fast. Territory was claimed. Points rose. When it was the human boy's turn, the field changed again. His unit appeared smaller. Outnumbered, surrounded on three sides. Some alien girls smiled openly now. This was not a test. It was humiliation. The boy studied the field without panic. He did not rush commands. He watched enemy movement, tracked supply routes, measured time rather than strength. The first clash was brutal. His unit lost ground quickly. Enemy fire overwhelmed them. Observers shook their heads. He was losing, but then something strange happened. Instead of pushing forward, he pulled back, sacrificing territory to save soldiers. Alien girls whispered in confusion. Why retreat? Why give up points? The boy split his unit into smaller groups, sent them through paths no one else used, avoiding heavy fire. Protecting weaker positions, he redirected energy away from attack systems. Reinforced shields instead. Lives mattered more than score. The enemy adapted. Pressure increased. One unit was cornered. The boy made a choice. He ordered another unit to draw fire, a deliberate sacrifice, not to win, but to let others escape. Gasps spread through the room. No alien commander would make that choice. Winning was everything. Survival came second. The sacrificed unit fell. Points dropped sharply. The loss was clear, but something else happened. More soldiers survived under his command than anyone else's. Evacuation routes stayed open. Civilians were protected. Critical data was preserved. The simulation ended. The results appeared in the air. Victory rankings filled the display. The human boy ranked near the bottom. A few alien girls smiled again, ready to laugh. Then the casualty numbers appeared. Silence replaced every sound. The human unit had the lowest loss count, the highest survival rate, the most successful evacuations. The teacher said nothing for a long moment. The room stayed frozen. Alien girls stared at the results. Their victories suddenly felt different. He had lost the battle, but saved the most lives. One alien girl felt her chest tighten. She remembered her own command: fast, clean, powerful, and how many units she had abandoned to win. Another looked at the human boy with new eyes. He had been weak, slow, outmatched, yet his choices protected others. The teacher finally spoke. "You fought to win," he said to the class. "He fought to protect." The words hung heavy in the air. The difference struck them deeply. Alien warfare valued dominance, efficiency, control. Human strategy valued survival, adaptation, sacrifice. The human boy returned to his place without expression. No pride, no apology. Laughter did not return. For the first time since he arrived, no one whispered, no one mocked. Respect replaced curiosity, quiet, uncomfortable respect. The alien girl near the window lowered her gaze, understanding something she had never been taught. Strength was not only power. Sometimes it was the choice to protect others, even when it meant losing. And in that silent classroom, the human boy changed how they understood war. Without winning a single battle, after the combat lesson, the academy did not feel the same. The human boy still walked the halls quietly, still spoke very little, still kept his eyes forward. But now, when alien girls looked at him, they did not see a joke. They saw a question. Rumors began to spread, not loud ones, quiet ones, shared in corners and late study hours. Who is he really? Why was he chosen? What does the academy know about humans? Some alien girls started searching the archives. Not openly, not together, but one by one, driven by curiosity. They did not admit human history was old and messy, unlike clean alien records. It was full of gaps, lost data, and damaged files, entire centuries marked only by the word conflict. They saw images of broken human cities, burning skies, crowded shelters, children hiding while the ground shook. They learned about wars humans fought against each other, wars that lasted generations, wars that nearly destroyed their own planet. One alien girl paused the footage, confused. Why would a species survive itself? Another file opened, human conflicts against alien threats. Invasions that almost erased them, diseases that wiped out millions, climate disasters that reshaped continents. Again and again, the records showed the same thing. Humans should have ended, by logic, by statistics, by every known model, but they did not. Footage played of human soldiers standing in ruined streets, outnumbered, under-equipped, still fighting, not always winning, often losing, but never disappearing. One alien girl felt her hands tighten. She remembered laughing at the boy, calling him weak, calling him outdated. Now she watched humans charge forward knowing they would not survive, just to buy time for others. Another alien girl closed the file abruptly. Her chest felt heavy. This was not inspiring. It was terrifying. Humans did not rely on perfect systems. They did not wait for ideal conditions. They adapted in chaos. Late that cycle, the boy was approached privately. Not by the teacher, not by officials, but by two alien girls who could no longer ignore their questions. They found him in a quiet observation hall, stars drifting slowly beyond the glass. He stood alone, hands behind his back. They did not insult him. They did not mock him. They asked simply, "Why do humans keep surviving?" The boy did not answer.
Right.
Away. He looked at the stars, at worlds humans might never reach. Then he spoke softly. "Humans survive because they must," he said, "not because they are strong, not because they are better." He turned slightly, meeting their eyes. "We survive because giving up means extinction. And extinction is not an option." One alien girl felt guilt rise inside her. She remembered every quiet test, every small humiliation, every laugh. She realized now that humans did not train for pride. They trained because the universe gave them no mercy. The other alien girl felt fear instead, cold and sharp, because adaptation under pressure did not stop. It accelerated. If humans evolved this way through loss, through constant danger, through near extinction, What would happen if the galaxy pushed them again? The boy continued calmly. Humans change when we are cornered. We learn fast. We share knowledge. We improve what fails. He did not sound proud. He sounded honest. The alien girls exchanged a look. This was not arrogance. This was experience. When they left, the corridor felt longer than before. The academy lights seemed dimmer. Word spread quietly after that. Not stories of weakness, but stories of survival. The human boy did not notice the shift, or if he did not show it. But the way alien girls looked at him changed again. Mockery was gone. Curiosity had deepened. And beneath it all, a new question formed, unspoken but powerful. If humans could become this under pressure, what might they become next? The crisis began without warning. No alarms at first, no calm announcement. One moment the academy floated peacefully above the city. The next, the lights flickered, the floor trembled, and a deep shockwave rolled through every hall. Students froze in confusion. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a drill. Others felt fear crawl into their chests. Then the alarms screamed. Red light flooded the academy. Emergency. Symbols flashed across the walls. A hostile alien force had entered the sector. Fast, aggressive, and unknown. Teachers rushed into the corridors. Their calm voices now sharp with urgency. Orders overlapped. Systems tried to respond. Then something went wrong. The academy's advanced defense grid failed. Shields flickered and collapsed. Teleport gates shut down mid-cycle. Communication screens went dark. Panic spread instantly. Alien girls ran in different directions. Some shouted instructions, others cried out for help. Training vanished under fear. Explosions echoed from the outer structures. The academy shook again, harder this time. Debris fell from the ceiling. Teachers tried to regain control, but their commands no longer reached everyone. Technology had always been their strength, and now it was gone. In the middle of the chaos, the human boy moved. He did not wait for orders. He did not look for permission. He assessed the situation the way humans did, fast and practical. He shouted, not loudly, but clearly. His voice cut through panic, direct and focused. Evacuation routes are failing, he said. We move on foot. Some alien girls hesitated. Why listen to him now? Then another explosion rocked the hall. Fear made the decision for them. The human boy began organizing groups, not by rank, not by strength, but by mobility and awareness. He placed the injured in the center, the calm ones on the edges, the strongest where walls were weakest. When doors failed to open, he forced manual overrides. When lights went out, he used glow strips torn from walls. Low-tech, simple, effective. An alien girl who had mocked him earlier found herself following his instructions. Without thinking, because they worked, smoke filled a side corridor. Students panicked. Turning back, the boy tied fabric from banners over vents, redirected airflow, cleared a path. Time mattered. Every second mattered. A section collapsed ahead, trapping several students. Teachers tried to access systems that no longer responded. The human boy did not wait. He crawled through a broken structure, ignoring sharp debris, ignoring heat. He reached the trapped group, calmed them with simple words. Slow breaths, one step at a time. A blast hit nearby, throwing him against the wall. For a moment, alien girls thought he was gone. Then he stood again, bleeding slightly, still moving. They followed him now without question. Fear had changed into trust. The evacuation reached the lower hangar, barely functional, partially exposed. Enemy fire struck the outer frame. The hangar shook violently. The boy stayed behind, holding a manual seal, buying time. An alien girl shouted at him to move. He shook his head. Not yet, he said. The last group made it through. The seal closed. The hangar stabilized. Only then did the boy step back, exhausted, but standing. Silence fell, broken only by distant alarms. Alien girls looked at him in shock, not because he was strong, not because he fought, but because they were alive. For the first time in Academy history, alien lives had been saved, not by advanced systems, not by superior instinct, but by a human, and as emergency forces finally arrived, one truth settled heavily among them. When everything else failed, it was human adaptability that kept them alive. After the crisis, the Academy felt quieter, not peaceful, but thoughtful. The halls were repaired. Systems slowly came back online. Lights returned to their normal glow. Yet something important had changed when the human boy walked through the corridors. Now, alien girls stopped whispering. Some stepped aside without realizing it. Others watched him with careful eyes. He was no longer seen as weak. He was seen as dangerous in a new way. Not because of power, but because of what he did when everything failed. Teachers gathered in private meetings, reviewing reports again and again, watching recordings from the evacuation, pausing on moments where the human boy made decisions. He had no rank, no authority, no advanced tools, yet students followed him. This disturbed many instructors. Their training focused on control, on systems that worked perfectly, on winning with superiority. The human boy had survived without any of that. When teachers finally spoke to him, they expected confidence, perhaps pride, or quiet satisfaction. Instead, he stood calmly and said very little. When praised, he lowered his head slightly. Survival matters more than pride, he said. If we argue about credit, people die. Those words stayed with the instructors longer than any report. Alien girls began changing their behavior, not all at once, not openly. During training sessions, they started asking different questions. What if systems fail? What if numbers are against us? What if retreat saves more lives? The human boy did not teach formally. He simply trained the way he always had, slowly, repeatedly, adapting when something failed. Some alien girls copied his habits. They trained longer, rested smarter, practiced scenarios where losing was allowed. Endurance drills replaced short bursts of power. Team survival mattered more than individual victory. One alien girl collapsed during training and expected laughter. Instead, another helped her up, remembering how the human boy always stood again. Teachers noticed the shift. Scores dropped at first, but survival simulations improved. The academy leadership reviewed the data, confused at first, then concerned, then deeply interested. Human strategies did not dominate. They endured. Human methods did not overwhelm. They adapted. The idea slowly formed. Humans were not behind. They were moving forward on a different path, a path shaped by loss, by pressure, by the constant threat of ending. The human boy remained the same. He did not seek attention. He did not demand respect, but respect followed him anyway. Alien girls who once mocked him now trained beside him, not as followers, but as learners. And deep within the academy, a quiet realization spread. If humans could change an elite alien class without trying, if they could lead without command, then the galaxy had misunderstood them completely. Not weak, not outdated, just different. And still, evolving. The classroom looked the same as it always had. Clean lines, glowing panels, calm artificial light. But the feeling inside it was completely different. The human boy stood at his place again. The same seat, the same simple uniform, the same calm posture. No laughter followed him now. No whispers, no hidden smiles, only silence. Alien girls watched him with steady eyes, not judging, not measuring, listening. The teacher stood at the front but did not speak right away. This lesson did not need instructions. One alien girl finally stood from her seat. The same one who had laughed on the first day, the same one who had tested him quietly. Her voice was controlled, but not proud. "We were wrong," she said, "about humans, about you." The room stayed silent. No one interrupted. She continued, "We thought strength meant control. We thought survival meant dominance. We thought failure meant weakness." Her eyes lowered briefly, then returned to the boy. "You showed us something else." The human boy listened without reacting. He did not nod. He did not smile. When it was his turn to speak, his voice was quiet, steady. "Humans don't need approval," he said. "We only need a chance." The words were simple, but they stayed. He did not explain further. He did not defend humanity. He did not list achievements. He simply stood there. In that moment, the alien girls understood something difficult. Humans had never asked to be admired. They had never demanded respect from the universe. They had survived anyway. The teacher, finally, spoke, not as an authority, but as a witness. "Strength can be taught," he said. "Technology can be built. Instinct can be trained." He looked at the human boy. "But endurance is chosen." The class ended without a signal. Students did not rush out. No one wanted to be the first to move. The realization was settling, slow, heavy. Humans were not the strongest species. They did not dominate space. They did not control the most systems. But when everything failed, when plans collapsed, when survival was no longer guaranteed, humans stayed. They adapted. They protected. They endured. The alien girl near the window looked out at the stars. Worlds filled with powerful civilizations. Advanced weapons, perfect systems. She wondered how many of them would fall when tested. The human boy picked up his things and prepared to leave, still unnoticed in the way true leaders often are. As he reached the door, the teacher spoke one final time. Not to stop him, but to mark the moment. "Remember this lesson," he said. "The universe does not reward perfection. It rewards those who refuse to end." The door opened, light spilled into the corridor, and the human boy stepped forward. Not as an outsider, not as a symbol, but as what he had always been, human. And in that quiet classroom, among alien minds, shaped by power and progress, a truth, finally, became clear. Humans are not the strongest, but they are the last to fall. When the universe tested humanity, it didn't find perfection, it found endurance.